I want you to reflect on your journey with video games, where you got started, what led you to what games you play now. Maybe you've stopped gaming. This is going to be my personal story growing up alongside video games. And I want you to think about yours critically. Let me know what you liked. Let me know what you think I might like. And with that, let's get started. For some context, I'm in my mid-20s. I was introduced to gaming at a young age through my dad, who loved Halo. And you can see the video here if you think that sounds like an interesting story to hear about. And I want to openly admit my nostalgia bias when it comes to the way I talk about certain games and which ones I say are the best or how good they were. It's a lot of what I remember from being a kid. But I want to recap my overall experience growing up alongside this medium. To structure this conversation in something that makes some level of sense, I want to talk through my experience chronologically in what I want to call stages. And these stages are personal to my experience. I kind of named them just off of what I felt like they should be named. This is no way some universal rigid structure that everyone would have followed growing up. But I think some of the games I played might sound familiar, and again, I would just love to get a conversation going about who played at what age and what it meant to them to play it. So starting with the childhood stage. My start with video games was a Christmas where at the end of opening all our gifts, my dad had told us he had one surprise left for us. It's honestly one of my earliest memories. He leads us down to the basement where on his TV, there's a video game on the screen. And I was so young, I thought this game was Scooby-Doo because the dude had a blue shirt on in jeans, and it just, my little kid brain thought it was Fred from Scooby-Doo. But no, this game was Vice City. My dad was up all night playing this Xbox that he had gotten for us kids as a gift. But it probably wasn't too hard to see he kind of got it for himself too. So as I've talked about in the Halo specific videos on this channel, I have a very strong connection to the Halo franchise through playing them split screen with my dad. The connection is so strong because it was built this early in my life. Many key memories and bonding moments with my dad occurred here. This era of gaming being so social emphasized this impact on me. Split screen was the only way to play with others, and it happened often in my household between my dad and I. I also played games like the original Spiderman, Battle for Bikini Bottom. I remember begging for the original Lego Star Wars for one of my birthdays. I really remember this era of gaming fondly. Dragging the TV around and feeling like a certified genius because I knew how to hook the console up all by myself. I even had one of those fold-up chair lounger things. I mean, look at that bad boy. Now we're moving into the nerd stage. This was around middle school for me. And the name nerd stage comes from the way I felt about gaming at this time. Public opinion on video games, in my school at least, was that only the nerds played video games. I don't have many memories openly discussing my video game playing at school or socially at all, other than with my close friends. We were all out of school and in the same neighborhood. I probably logged less hours of gaming during this time as well, as I had moved into a new neighborhood that had a handful of kids my age. We spent a lot of time on our bikes and playing sports outside. Also, we were pretty, for a lack of better way to say it, broke at the time, and we weren't able to upgrade to the Xbox 360 or PS3 when they came out. I was stuck playing all the games mentioned previously, and at this point in my life, we're starting to get kind of boring. Although it was during this time I got really into Guitar Hero. My dad had gotten us Guitar Hero Aerosmith for Christmas, and I was obsessed. I was so proud of my ability to play an expert. I even entered in a local Guitar Hero contest and ended up getting absolutely shredded by some 20-year-old who had no business being in this contest. But I'm not bitter. And I do remember hearing some buzz about the people who weren't afraid to be openly nerds. Again, this was just a different time. But they talked about games like Assassin's Creed being like the next big thing. However, I didn't have a 360 at the time, and it left me unable to learn about much was going on in the gaming sphere at this time. So this leads into the next stage, the COD Stage. I call this the Call of Duty stage because this franchise had taken over the entire world, as well as my gaming experience. Over the next few year period, every gaming memory I have was influenced by Call of Duty in one way or another. It was also a pretty social experience for me as well. Being late to the Xbox 360 generation meant I did miss the peak of Halo and Modern Warfare 2's hype on the online multiplayer scene. Even when my next door neighbor was the first around to get an Xbox 360, he didn't have the internet capabilities to play online. But that didn't stop all of us in the neighborhood from all going over to his house and playing Modern Warfare 2 till 5 a.m. I know Modern Warfare 2 inside and out, just like everyone from this period, but for me, the trash talk was in person, not over Xbox Live. Just around the time we were getting pretty tired of all the maps on Modern Warfare 2, Call of Duty Black Ops was released. This was the first time I played through a COD campaign, and it was an amazing one to start off with. I mean, the zombies was just ridiculous, and honestly scared the hell out of me at the time. This was also a whole new game with new maps to grind out on the 4-screen multiplayer with the crew. It was near the end of this period when I was finally able to obtain my own Xbox 360 and get it connected to the internet. My first Xbox Live game was Halo Reach. I played many hours of Infection and loved hiding in that hall at the bottom of Sword Base like a total scrub. And I actually met my now wife around this time. She's the cousin of one of those neighborhood friends, and since she lived a couple towns apart and we didn't have cell phones at the time, or, oh god, if they did, we had minutes. Oh, I'm old. But this meant we spent our first all night long talk on Xbox Live. We were driving around Liberty City in Grand Theft Auto 4, which does kind of tie into the next stage, the Grand Theft Auto 5 stage. In the summer of 2013, I pre-ordered both Splinter Cell Blacklist and the very much anticipated Grand Theft Auto 5. Splinter Cell Conviction was one of the first Xbox 360 games I bought with my own money, and it was the first Splinter Cell game I played all the way through. I liked the series solely based on the knowledge that my dad liked the older titles, although when I was that young, I didn't quite understand them. So when I stumbled across that first Blacklist trailer on YouTube, I knew I had to get that game. And do I even need to explain how I felt about Grand Theft Auto 5? I mean, I remember downloading the first story trailer and showing everyone I could. Oh, and by the way, I actually just watched the GTA 6 trailer and got that same feeling. It's kind of awesome. The release of GTA 5 was the beginning of a pivot in my gaming journey. I no longer played split screen with anyone. My brothers each had their own Xbox 360. There were even times we'd play online together, but from separate rooms. I still played socially for a large percentage of my playtime. I mean, I put tons of hours into Black Ops 2, and at least 99% of it was spent with at least one friend in my lobby. But during this time, I was also beginning to experience games for their stories alone, as I was building the capacity to appreciate a well-executed story. Late summer 2013, I played through the stories of both Splinter Cell Blacklist and Grand Theft Auto 5 upon their releases. During the 2013-14 winter break, I played Far Cry 3 and found the behemoth of a game that is Skyrim for the first time. This phase lasted a considerable amount of time, as my friends and I played Grand Theft Auto 5 online all of those years and then deep into the next console generation, making it last through the rest of my time in high school. The Fortnite Stage. I call this the Fortnite Stage only because this was around the time Fortnite really started to take off. I tried it once or twice, but I guess I was already on my way to becoming a boomer because I just couldn't vibe with the fast-paced building mechanics on top of the shooting combat. Which, I know, it makes me look like... This was the first period where I purposely expended energy chasing the feeling found in the previous phases. Or other words, nostalgia. I mean, my buddies and I did have some good times on Destiny just after we graduated high school. The game wasn't really in the top of anything at the time. I honestly don't know how we started playing it. I enjoyed the multiplayer as it could produce moments that reminded me of playing COD in previous years did. And I liked the use of precision weapons and the skill gaps that accompany that. My best friend and I were also very eagerly anticipating the release of Mafia 3. He introduced me to Mafia 2 and it became an instant favorite of mine. With its cliffhanger ending, we simply couldn't wait to see what they do with the third game. We would pass a notebook back and forth in high school classes, writing fan theories on how a theoretical third game would solve its cliffhanger. And we ended up being pretty disappointed with the results of certain parts of Mafia 3 upon its release. Meaning this phase also marked the beginning of a downward spiral in the quality of games, at least upon their releases. The adult stage. And I've now reached my current stage in this journey. My high school group and I mostly disbanded. Oddly enough, around the time we all hopped off Destiny and stopped playing video games together. Off that split, I fell into playing Halo 5 as its multiplayer had answers for everything that drove us off Destiny, although none of my friends followed me there. And that was the beginning of me playing games truly alone. Nowadays, the only time I play socially is if my best friend and I do the cliche 2 weeks on Minecraft together, which is becoming less frequent as we work different shifts. When I find the time to, I do play story games with a high focus on getting a good, interesting story to engross myself in. I play multiplayer games like Halo Infinite to chase the fun of those old COD matches, although it doesn't give me much to play for. I try to fabricate a social experience when playing by watching some streamers I enjoy, like Ubernick play Halo and talk with his community as he plays. This is a weird stage. We have more games to play than ever, and more ways to play them than ever. I still enjoy video games as much as ever, though it feels like something's missing that I can't quite articulate. Maybe this retrospective on my life alongside video games can give me some new perspective on this feeling. The impact. I've been regularly playing video games since I was 4 years old when my dad first brought home that Xbox. Gaming has made me who I am. It has acted as a companion, a method of connection, sometimes a teacher. It's hard to really measure the impact it's had on me, as it's been so intertwined within my life. I think that's why it's so frustrating for gamers to see parts of the industry decline like we have in recent years. We all know the memories that are lost when a game releases broken and halves its player base due to greed and shitty corporate decision making. I'm optimistic things will get better, and if not, we'll find ways to make these memories regardless. Good examples of this are games like Among Us and the newly popular Lethal Company. While I don't know way too much about these games, I've seen clips that have come from them, and it's a good feeling to see people having so much fun playing games. Gaming is important. Its fans have a deep passion for all the good it can bring when the stars align on a special game that provides a special experience. Making this video, taking a look back on my journey with video games, really makes the decision to dedicate time and effort into this channel, trying to create a community, feel right. I want the next phase of my gaming journey to include you, creating connections and friendships in ways I haven't been able to before. Whether that be responding to your comments on the videos, or playing games with you during live streams. I think this look into the past is the beginning of something special. Thanks for watching.